Hi, I'm Darryl Cross and I work as a clinical psychologist, but more particularly as an executive and personal coach. And in my role as both a coach and psychologist, people often ask, how can I become more confident? How can I feel less overwhelmed? Because basically they're suggesting to me that they're sabotaging themselves in some way. And they often use that word. They say, I feel like I'm sabotaging. I feel like I self-sabotage. I cut myself off. I don't reach my potential. I don't put my hand up. I don't stick my neck out. I kind of hold back. I can hear myself saying things that are negative. I can feel myself being anxious and just not stepping out. So they'll say all those sorts of things. I think what's really important to understand about self-sabotage is there's part of us in the way we present ourselves to others that's like this iceberg, and about a tenth of the iceberg, they suggest to us, is above the waterline. And that's basically what people see. People see this part of us, and that's the part that we consciously show to the world. It's our exterior, it's our persona. But underneath all that is where the real engine is. The real engine lies beneath the waterline. This is in fact the subconscious, and this is where most of the self-sabotage occurs. So what's down here? What is it that people are saying is holding them back or limiting them? I guess the easiest way I can describe that is that down in here are what I call lots of DVDs. These DVDs have all been programmed and scripted. Possibly when you were about 7 years of age, lots of these would have been written. Some of the main ones would have been scripted at least, and produced and directed. And produced and directed essentially by mum and dad, but it could be grandparents, caregivers and others around you. But what we have down here are a number of DVDs that occur right through our lives and get played and sometimes thrashed. And those DVDs have programs written on them that simply come to the fore. And so sometimes when we're least expecting it, we can automatically hit on a DVD and it starts to play for us, and it's got limiting beliefs on it. And so it's important to understand that that's all it is. It's a limiting belief, it's a limiting DVD if you like. I mean, once upon a time I used to say there were videos, but now that life has moved on, we're now into DVDs. I'm not sure what we'll be talking about a few years from now, but DVD serves the point. Understand that our self-sabotage comes from these DVDs that are just programmed there. In other words, if this DVD activates, no matter how much I don't want that picture to be showing, it is going to show because it's been programmed. I might wish it not to show. I might wish something else to be on there, but wishing won't make it so. So the issue is that no matter what's on there, it will automatically play whatever has been written onto that DVD. So the message then is that what we have to do is we have to re-record our DVDs. That's critical for handling self-sabotage. So that instead of these old DVDs coming up, we in fact want better DVDs to be produced. And so what we do is we do a recording of a better DVD. So how do we do that? Essentially what you've got to work out is what you want in life and who do you want to be. Who do you want to be? Do you want to be loving? Do you want to be kind? Do you want to be confident? Do you want to be assertive? Do you want to have courage? Who is it you want to be? And so you have to work out who you want to be, and then you need to actually start to see yourself being that person. And you need to spend a couple of minutes, possibly morning and night, just relaxing, taking time out and seeing yourself as this new person that you'd really want to be. And as you start to see that new person, this DVD starts to get recorded, because this sits down in the subconscious. The subconscious doesn't know what is fact and fantasy. It records whatever you give it. The conscious part of you, the part that we present to the world, does know what's fact and fantasy. The subconscious doesn't. So you can lay down a script for yourself. Imagine seeing yourself as courageous, or loving, or confident, or outgoing. See yourself in those ways. Picture it. Get the snapshots. Understand how you can do that. See it in your mind's eye. See little vignettes of yourself. See little videos of yourself doing this, to a point where the subconscious picks it up and, as I said, doesn't know the difference between fact and reality. And so eventually this then becomes your actual reality. And instead of these old DVDs playing, the new ones will instead come to the fore and be played. Why? Because you've practiced seeing them, and the subconscious can't determine which is the real one and which isn't, and it will play whichever one you have been most recently rehearsing, and whichever one you have been most recently re-scripting. Now, this won't cut in immediately. Most clients tell me it takes about 4 weeks or so to start to cut in, and they feel strength from it. Basically, after about 6 months, that will become automatic. You might be tempted to play the old DVD at certain points in time, but if you keep working on this one, this will become your habit and a new DVD. And therefore, you will have reduced or eliminated your self-sabotage. Is that worth doing? I think it is. It's a recipe for success. And most people who are leaders in their field, no matter whether it's on the sports field or in academia, in science or in business, wherever it happens to be, have good, solid DVDs. So I challenge you, what would it take for you to spend a few minutes in the morning or a few minutes in the evening actually seeing yourself in the way that you'd really like to be, so that you've got laid down in the subconscious a new DVD? Is it worth it? You bet it is.
Whoops.
And we're back. We were talking right at the end there. That was funny. Got us a little off guard. Yes.
It's a black screen.
Yes, the missing part was us. We got distracted. I was actually passing on a compliment to Mitch. That's why he's a little like, because while I was in New York, we saw some really great friends of ours, some hypnotherapists. We actually showed them on the show, many shows back, we showed this clip of people having fun in Battery Park, and we were like, look, there's Annie and Che. Well, we were in, when I was in New York, we got to spend some time with Annie and Che a couple times, and they have this great apartment in Greenwich Village, and they're just really having a fantastic life out there. But I was just telling Mitch that Che was saying he could listen to Mitch teach all day long. So just my little New Year's compliment to
That's
Mitchell
so nice.
via Che.
I admire Che so much, so that's a real compliment. Thank you, Che.
Yes, so anyhow, back to our show about limited beliefs.
What a clip, huh?
That's a great clip. I love how he uses the analogy of recording the DVDs. I said programming, but, basically this, same thing, just a little bit of a different language, that you've got those DVDs you just keep going back to, and you could have recorded them at 1 year old or 6 years old or sometime back in your history.
And it usually is before you're 7 years old. Most of those programs that we start running and those belief systems that we create, really, most of them start before even 7 years old.
Mm-hmm. And the good news is, just like Dr. Cross said, is that you can lay down a new track. You can get a new recording in there. And generally what we tell our clients, because we do assign homework for them to do this every day, that visualization either on their own or with the CD, is that between 30 and 90 days you really start to see the results. And Dr. Cross was saying after 6 months, it's there. It's part of who you are. Like when I said in July you're cleaning the fish tank, and I'm reading the book. So just it's that consistent reimagining of yourself.
And consecutive days. I know that I've read that it's actually a proven psychological fact that any idea, image, or concept that's repeated to you or through you or by you for 30 consecutive days or more automatically becomes a new subconscious acting out pattern or habit with or without your approval or even acknowledgement.